Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Before I begin, I want to congratulate you and your family on being elected to a second term, being Speaker of this House of Representatives. I also want to take the opportunity to congratulate my colleagues on a successful ending to a long journey to come before this body today and participate in the swearing-in ceremony to represent the citizens of your districts over the next 2 years. I also want to welcome your friends, your family members, and your supporters to the hall of the House today. As they say, there's no more beautiful place to come to work on a daily basis. I want to take a moment to also thank my wife, Heather, our 3 children, Joshua, Gracie, and Ellie, who are with me today and appropriately seated right in front of me today, for their love and support and their patience. And without all of them supporting me, I would not be able to go down this path of public service as I have for the last number of years. And I also want to recognize 2 young friends who took the time away from school to be here today, 2 constituents from my district, Mr. Elliot Tom, son of Matt and Jill Tom from Indiana Borough, and Miss Lily Manzi, daughter of Bob and Amy Manzi, who took time to be with us for today's swearing-in ceremony today. And I also especially want to thank Lily, who made the choice to be with us here today in Harrisburg in the Capitol, as opposed to her brother Charlie Manzi, who took the journey westward to the Rose Bowl with his mother Amy last night. Great game, not the best ending, but great game nonetheless. Today, we gather together in this beautiful building, now as members of this historic body, on this splendid occasion. And as we do so, I would encourage each of us, take a moment, take it in, appreciate the significance of the moment in time and the opportunity that you have before you. And as you appreciate that significance, make sure you understand that with it comes a great responsibility. We each now bear a burden upon our shoulders to represent 64,000 people back home, but collectively to represent 13 million Pennsylvanians across this state. And as we do so, we control the destiny of this Commonwealth. We control the destiny of our communities and of this entire Commonwealth and the future of both together through our public policy decisions. You know, certainly during the last legislative session, the Speaker alluded to a number of the issues that we talked about. We had many great debates on many grand issues upon this floor. We talked about budgets after budgets after budgets. We talked about pension reform, liquor privatization, property tax elimination, the legalization of medical marijuana for our sickest children and our suffering adults. And we talked about creating an educational system in which all can be winners. Some of those items made it over the goal line. Others still are going to require some work of this body over the next 2 years. But as we begin this journey together into the 201st legislative session of this grand body, and as we listen to the pundits and as we listen to the naysayers across the state, I would ask, don't get caught up in the negativity associated with politics and government. Folks will continue to focus on the challenges, focus on the difficulties, focus on budget deficits, pension liabilities, property tax burdens, entitlement spending growth, and even ensuring educational opportunities for all. But as I hear those descriptions, and as I hear folks talk about those difficulties, and oftentimes with a negative overture, I'm often brought back to a quote from one of the great leaders of the 20th century, Sir Winston Churchill, who, when confronted with that sort of perception, often was found to remark with the following: "It is the pessimist who sees every difficulty in each opportunity, but yet it's the optimist who sees the opportunity in every difficulty." Folks, there will be plenty of difficulties ahead. There are many challenges facing the state and our communities collectively. But out of those challenges, we have an amazing opportunity. We have an opportunity that no body like ours has ever had in the history of this Commonwealth. We get to evaluate what our future should look like. We get to determine how government should meet the needs of our citizens. We get to have a conversation about restructuring a government that has looked the same for 40 or 50 years. We get to determine what are our needs and what are merely our wants. We get to redesign how we educate our children. We get to redesign how we bring safety to the streets of our neighborhoods. We get to create job opportunities for each and every man and woman of this Commonwealth who wants the opportunity to work for a living. We can lift our neediest citizens out of poverty. We have the duty and the obligation and the opportunity to protect each and every life, to protect the liberty of our citizens, and to ensure the pursuit of happiness of all among us. Folks, the days of reshuffling the deck in protection of the status quo, they're over. It's time to change government, and it's time to do it together. We get that chance because we are elected representatives of 65,000 people, individually, and 13 million people collectively. We can reinvent government together. We can imagine what we want our government to look like over the next 20, 30, 40 years. And by uniting together as one body, not as Republicans, not as Democrats, not as urban legislators, not as rural legislators, but by uniting together, we could take that image, we could take that vision, and we can make it a reality. I would encourage each of you, as you look forward to this session, and as we begin that journey together today, look forward as the optimist. Look for the solutions. Look for the opportunities. Don't just focus on the challenges. Together, we can make a difference for the future of our children and our grandchildren in the generations to come. So congratulations to each of my colleagues. May God watch over you and your families over the next 2 years. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.